Hello, American Crochet Association. Salena Baca here, founder, host, lead educator with the ACA. And on Mondays, I like to come on over here and mingle. If you're watching live, come on over, say hey, say hello, tell me where you're viewing from. If you're a member of the ACA, let me know in the comments. I'll give you an extra special shout out. And as always, if you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, suggestions, if there's a topic you guys would like to chat about, go ahead and post it and we'll either chat about it today, or if I'm catching it on the replay, maybe we'll incorporate it into another chat or tip or Mingle Monday session or something like that. So conversation is always welcome. Feedback is always welcome. Now, today I want to have a conversation about something that we do at the American Crochet Association that honestly some people have questions about. And so I wanted to address some of those questions that we get, and I wanted to talk more about something that we do here that I think is pretty different and special, that I think is pretty amazing. And those are our certificates of completion, okay? Now, you get a certificate of completion at the American Crochet Association after you complete our 12-course learning path. And of course, that 12-course learning path, we say, is like earning a degree in crochet, right? Now, what's different about the crochet world as opposed to other kinds of skills or other kinds of careers is that there's no real credential system in the crochet world. And because there's no real credential system, because there's no real college of crochet, we're trying to create a system that gives us some credentials, that does give us a way that we can build knowledge, that we can build experience, that we can build a career. So because this is something that we've put together, it's something that we're trying to organize with things like certificates of completion. So maybe you're just a hobbyist, maybe you want to go the professional route. In either case, we do strongly suggest the 12-course learning path because it does give you those 12 different courses of knowledge and expertise in the crochet realm that will help you not only better your knowledge, but better your crochet skill. And when you complete all of that, you can either download, print, whatnot, save those specific certificates that you've earned for things like our yarn course, our swatch course, our basic stitch course, our advanced stitch course, our seam and join course, our finishes course, our sizing course. So you can download those individual certificates of completion. And then when you complete all of them, you can earn your degree in crochet, which is our granddaddy or grandmama, whichever one, certificate of completion. Now, I think these are pretty fantastic because it is a tangible representation of the knowledge that you get at the ACA. And so it is something that you can point to just because you're a hobbyist and maybe you are looking to build your knowledge and skill, but you're not really sure incrementally what that looks like, or you're not really sure what that spectrum is. So it's really nice to be able to see that, okay, here's 12 courses in the crochet realm that really represent a well-rounded knowledge of crochet. And as you complete each one of them, yes, you do earn those individual certificates of completion. And when you complete all 12 of them, it's like getting an associate's degree in crochet. So it's a pretty cool thing. So again, have you guys heard of our certificates of completion? Have you seen them? Every time we issue them, we post right here in this group. So, we can celebrate with those members so that we can share the hard work that they've done. So maybe you've seen these and you've got questions. Maybe you've never heard of them before and you've got questions. In either case, the floor is open. It looks like Terry B is here and she's saying hello. Hello, Terry B. So good to see you. Thank you for checking in. So you might be wondering also, and this is another thing I wanted to chat about, what you can do with these certificates of completion, what they lead to. And again, there's no real global accreditation system. It just doesn't exist, right? So again, we're trying to create some baselines. We're trying to create some standards. That doesn't mean that you can't do anything with them. I don't want anyone to think, well, if there's no baseline, if there's no standard, then what are we doing here? So this really is something that you can just use to better your knowledge and your skill. you know, because you're a hobbyist and you're looking to better your knowledge and your skill just because you want to better your craft in ways that are meaningful to you. I think it's also really important, especially in the crochet world, that maybe you do want to take that professional route. Maybe you want to teach, you want to write patterns, you want to take the things that you make and open up a shop and sell those individual things. Maybe you want to become a tech editor. Maybe you want to help people write patterns and in meaningful ways. So there's really just a few areas of expertise that you can turn into a crochet career, and that's what we're trying to create further credentials for. So just like most other fields in the world, I believe, like if you want to become a doctor, you don't just say, all right, well, I want to start taking doctor courses. There are a lot of prerequisites that go with that. Same thing with becoming a lawyer. If you want to become a lawyer, you don't just start taking law, courses, right? Courses in law. You have to take a lot of prerequisites. You have to earn certain credentials and you have to apply certain skills to be able to even enter those schools of thought. So I really feel like crochet is in that same realm. There's a lot you have to prove before you can begin taking courses to become a crochet instructor, become a pattern writer, or things of that nature, right? So that's why we built the 12-course program, the 12-course learning path, is that's going to assure you understand that there's a baseline of knowledge and education, but it's also going to fill in a lot of those gaps to where you may be the kind of crocheter, myself included, that says, I can look at anything and figure it out, or I can follow almost any pattern, or I don't really feel like there are a lot of roadblocks for me in terms of crochet, right? I really feel like I've mastered this. But there's a lot of gaps because it's very difficult to understand what the spectrum is in terms of crochet knowledge and education. And that was certainly a hindrance for me as well before the American Crochet Association. So the hindrance is that we feel very knowledgeable and we feel that we can persevere, but there's a lot of things that we can't really identify. There's a lot of things that we're not sure even what our own knowledge and expertise are, and there's so many different examples of that. Rewind, before the American Crochet Association, I'd been crocheting for decades and I felt very skilled. I felt very knowledgeable. And I didn't realize where I was lacking because I felt so knowledgeable, because I felt so skilled, right? There was no real leveling system to say where my skills even fell, where I could advance. So a prime example was in the selections I made for yarn, right? So the selections that I made for yarn were very limited. I wasn't always choosing the best yarn for projects. And there was a lot of trial and error just even in that process. And so really just asking better questions about yarn really helped me to understand how to buy yarn better, how to better pair certain yarns with certain projects, right? So it's things like that. It's that kind of knowledge that then, even though I was already writing patterns, even though I was already teaching people, that knowledge, just asking better questions pertaining to yarn, not only helped me to write better patterns as a whole, it helped me choose yarns in ways that allowed me to understand what they were best suited for, and what their limitations were. So not only did it prepare me for pattern writing, it also helped prepare me to be a better crocheter as a whole. Because honestly, sometimes I was choosing the wrong yarns for projects, but I couldn't have told you why they were wrong until maybe they didn't function well, or maybe the colors that I chose ate away at the design that I was making, or maybe, there's so many other reasons a yarn is not going to pair well. So anyway, that's why we developed the 12-course learning path, is because it is a prerequisite to those professional paths. Because we may feel like, hey, I can write patterns, I come up with ideas all the time, I am a good writer, we can check a lot of boxes for ourselves. But if we don't have a better understanding of things like yarn characteristics, the fundamentals of yarn, if we don't understand yarn, we may not be writing the best patterns possible. We may be hindered by our lack of knowledge and not even understand that we're hindered by our lack of knowledge. So these certificates of completion not only help to identify your own credentials, but they help prepare you for those professional routes should you choose to take them. And that way, after you earn those credentials and you want to take that professional route, not only will you know yourself that you do have the knowledge and the credentials and the experience to really understand how to take on that career path better, but you're going to, by default, be able to create better products, better services, and better experiences, not only for yourself, but for those who come in contact with them. So that's kind of an overview of what our certificates of completion are and how you get them. But again, if you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, I'd love to hear them. So let's see who else is here on this sleepy, quiet Monday. Terry B, she says, I need to get a move on this. This is my second time working through the courses and I have yet to get to the end. Oh man, Terry B, well, I'd love to hear what's stopping you or what's hindering you. Is it the course material? Is it the pace? Is it something about the courses or the lessons that's maybe making it not really a smooth experience for you, or is just life happening? Let us know. Let us know, Terry, because we try to assure that the feedback that we get allows us to build up our products and our services so that it can be an excellent experience for our members. We want these courses to be things that are easy for you to find, easy for you to adapt into your crochet life. So if that's not happening for you for some reason, excuse me, let us know. We'd absolutely love your feedback. And also, Terry, what do you think about the courses so far? What do you think about the courses that you have taken? What have you learned from them? Do you really feel like it's broadening your knowledge and your skill? Does that feel like, if so, does that motivate you to want to go to the next course? So let us know. What are your thoughts and feelings and feedback? Novella is here. Hello, Novella. It is always so good to see you. Chris Lopez is here. Chris, it is always, always so good to see you. Happy Monday. DePolly is here. Hello, DePolly. DePolly says, thank you so much for the beautiful tote. Yes, DePolly was our winner for our giveaway last week. DePolly, I pulled your tote out. It is right here. I'm going to be mailing it to you. I have to go to the post office. I've got boxes and boxes that I have to take to the post office. And DePolly, you have won this. I'm also going to update some information about this. I didn't post the dimensions for this last week, only because I feel that the company that we use, I feel that they have two different styles of bags. I feel that they do. And so I was hesitant to post the exact dimensions of this, although this is 14¼ across, 17½ long. So it's a pretty hefty little bag. So if you guys are interested in this, I will post the link in the comments below so you guys can go and check it out, okay? But again, I was a little hesitant to post that only because the company didn't put the dimensions. I don't know why. But again, I feel like it might be because they have two different styles. Specifically, one has this little snap and one doesn't. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of that, and I'll keep you guys posted. But DePolly, congratulations. That was our giveaway last week. I really appreciate that. Or I appreciate that you entered. Terry B, she says, no, it's me not making time for myself, Salena. Yeah, that is another one. I completely understand that. Terry, I struggle with making time for things sometimes. And short story long, I feel that I have to make time for new habits. I have to physically do something that schedules them. For example, on Mondays, I'm free at 8 in the morning before everybody else is awake, or 7 in the morning before everybody else is awake. So that's the time when I'm going to read this, or I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take 45 minutes and do it. So anyway, I find that whenever I schedule time for things, and I schedule an adequate amount of time for things, that it is something new that I have to incorporate into my schedule. And then once I just kind of make myself do it, I maybe tweak it a little bit for next time, Monday didn't work so well, but Tuesday may work better. Then it really helps me to incorporate those habits far easier than just kind of waiting for a time. So I'm not sure you know, what you currently do, but I'm just sharing what works well for me. So maybe that'll make a difference. DePolly, she says, I just completed my 12 courses, excuse me, and waiting for the completion certificate to mail. I actually have it for you right here. I haven't filled it out for you yet, but it's coming, lady. It's coming with your tote. So as soon as I fill it out, I'll give you an extra special shout out here in the group. Marley Bird is here watching, and Facebook wants to know if Marley Bird wants to come and join me on Facebook. So can't bring Marley on. So thank you, Facebook, for saying, would you like to bring Marley on? Click this button. And I click the button. It says, sorry, we can't do that. Facebook, you're crazy. Hold on. All right. Well, Marley, if you'd like to come join me, you're always welcome. Facebook suggested it and then said, no, sorry, you can't do that. So, I don't know. Lisa is here. She says, I just finished the yarn course. Is there a timeline? Do I lose access to the videos after a certain time frame? So our 12 course learning path is a membership option, and that membership is entirely up to you. So you can either, you either are a monthly member or you're an annual member. And as long as you're a member, you will have access to the courses that you gain. So as long as you maintain your membership, you have access to all of the courses that you have for as long as you're a member. So Lisa, you just finished the yarn course. Congratulations. I would love to hear what you think about, or what you thought about that course. Of those 4 lessons, was there one lesson that you liked more than the others? Did you apply the homework yet? Were you able to do that? Did you feel that you had a better understanding for yarn? Did you feel that you could ask better questions about yarn? I would love to hear what you think. Oftentimes, that's one of our most revolutionary courses at the ACA, just because, you know, as crocheters, we use yarn all the time, of course, but we're really not asking questions about the yarn that we're using, the color, the fiber, the weight, the care. Oftentimes, that's a course I continuously go back to because I'm always reminded of some key detail that either I've forgotten or I don't think about often. So I'd love to hear what you think about the yarn course. So keep us posted. Amy McKeever is here. Hello, Amy McKeever. So good to see you. Terry B says, I have learned so much from them. Of course, she's talking about the 12 course learning path. She says, this time around, I am flying through as I learned so much last time around. Yeah, and that's exactly why we keep this as a membership model. We often update courses as information you know, as we have new information or if information changes in any way. So that's why it's a membership model. Also, because it's a membership, we find that people are more likely to go through the courses. If it's just, a one-time thing, we find that oftentimes people will make a purchase and then they'll put it off for later. So that's exactly why we're a membership model. We're here for you guys Monday through Friday. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, you guys can always email us and we'll get right back to you. We typically have a 24-hour turnaround time. So I'm glad that Terry, that you're finding that you can easily go back through those courses and learn new things. I find that I constantly go back through courses. There are some things that even I feel that I'm pretty skilled in, but I just want a reminder. And again, there's always some key detail or some key thing that I'm like, oh, I haven't used that in a while, or I haven't thought about that in a while, or I haven't done that kind of project in a while. So let me incorporate that new key piece of information. DePolly, she says, I appreciate you so much. Lady, same. We appreciate all of our ACA community. We really do. Chris Lopez says, congratulations to you, DePolly. Terry B says, I love learning new things and I enjoy your videos and then trying things out for myself. Good. I'm so glad. I really hope that the learning objectives and the action steps, we really hope that at the end of every single lesson, there are things that you can easily adopt into your crochet life. There are things that you can easily try out. Again, we want you to have the knowledge, but it's not until you apply the skill that you can really incorporate it into your crochet life. So hopefully it's happening in meaningful ways. Novella says, I'm trying to click and ship for the first time now. Oh, tell us a little bit more about that. I'm not quite sure what you mean about the click and ship. So tell me what you mean. Chris Lopez, oops, spelled her name wrong. Congratulations to Polly. Sometimes the autocorrect in the spell check kind of It gets the better of us. DePauli says, will you sign it? I want your autograph. I sign every single one of our certificates of completion that go out. Every single one of them. So yes, I will sign it, and I can't wait to send it to you. Absolutely. Oh, Marley's so popular. Of course, Chris Lopez is saying hey to Marley here. DePauli says, also, if you could sign the tote. You want me to sign the tote with a permanent pen? Are you sure? I mean, I don't mind doing it, but I feel like such a nerdy crochet person. Like, you want me to sign it? Okay, all right, I guess I'll sign it. My pleasure. I'd be happy to. Chris Lopez says, oops, just kidding about inviting Marley. Yeah, thanks, Facebook. Facebook. So crazy. You got me feeling all the feelings sometimes. DePauli says, did you get a chance to check the review I posted on the ACA? Not yet. That's something that I go back and I do, I think every other week. And so I will go back and check that. I can't wait to see what you thought. We loved that every single time you went through a course, you gave us some immediate feedback about it. So I can't wait to see what your overall feedback is. Thank you so much, DePauli. Hello, Kirsten Cox. Good to see you. Lisa said, I enjoyed learning yarn terminology. She says, I can describe yarn more intelligently. It's like describing a fine bottle of wine. You know, that's such an interesting way of putting it. And I love food analogies. I often describe things with food. And so I love that analogy because I think that you're absolutely right. I think that there is a parallel between yarn and wine. I am not a wine connoisseur whatsoever. I went wine tasting with my sister a couple times, and my extent of wine knowledge before the tasting was, I know there's red and there's white. So I also learned that there's blush. I mean, I knew that before, but I couldn't have told you that. And then I learned other characteristics of wine, like there's sweets, and then there's some that aren't so sweet, and then there's blends, and then there's different grapes, and there's dessert wines. And it really opened my eyes. That's what I mean by, like, before when I bought yarn, I literally wine. I mean, I did the same thing with yarn. Before, when I bought wine, I would buy it because of the price, because of how pretty the bottle was, because it was red or white. And after I took that wine tasting, I realized that I liked a particular wine. I like Petite Syrah. I can't even really tell you what that is other than it's a kind of grape, and you know, I liked blends that had that. And so I like reds that are Petite Syrah. And that's about all I can tell you. But I know that when I buy that wine now, that it's going to be something that I enjoy more. So I know what it's going to taste like, right? So I'm so glad that you said that, Lisa, about our yarn course, because so many times we buy yarn like maybe we buy wine. That's a good price and the bottle looks good. But then we get it home and we start working with it, right? And we're like, oh, this is awful. I wanted it to go with this, but it doesn't, or I thought I'd enjoy it. I don't like working with it. Or at first I really like the color, but I don't like it when I'm working. So I think that's a great analogy. And yeah, I think I'm going to use that more as I talk about yarn. It's a lot about it's a lot like wine. It's so much more complex than just what meets the eye. So good. I'm glad that you felt that way. Tina says, I've definitely learned new stuff I definitely had no knowledge of before, and also learning technical names of things I already knew how to do, just didn't know what it was called. Yes, me too. I had the same experience. And she says, I've been crocheting for 30 plus years now, and I love learning something new about my craft. Absolutely. You know, I kept again, pre-ACA, I kept finding that maybe I knew things, but I couldn't tell you I couldn't explain it in a meaningful way, or I didn't really understand the spectrum of it. Like, let me say joining crochet pieces was a perfect example. I was really scared to join crochet pieces, and I didn't really understand what it meant to join crochet pieces. Other than, well, I know you can like slip stitch them together or single crochet. I know you can sew them together, but I really couldn't have told you much outside of that. And since building the American Crochet Association and learning what it means to join and the different methods to join, I now feel much more confident, not only in the projects that I can tackle, but I understand my options now depending on the yarn or the project or the size of the motif. What join method or technique is going to work best for it. So I'm so glad that you had that experience, Tina. Thank you. Novella, she says, you don't have to go to the post office with click and ship. Yeah, I feel like that's something I'm going to have to look into. I feel like it's one of those things that, like, if somebody just showed me, I'm very much like, that's what kind of learner I am. Like, I have to see it, and then I have to read it, and then someone has to, like, hold my hand and show me, and then I'm like, oh, okay. But outside of that, it's kind of hard for me to learn new things and just adopt them. So I'm very much the kind of learner that needs multiple ways of learning something new, you know? So click and all right. If you say it's easy and you do it, I'll look into it. I'll have to see. Thank you. DePauli, absolutely. I would love it if you sign the tote. All right, lady, I will sign your tote. Let's see. Sharon is here. Sharon says, love the courses, ready to try broomstick lace. Ooh, I can't wait. When I tried broomstick lace, I just did a little swatch, and I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I loved that I learned how to do it. I loved that it was something that I tried, and I also realized that it was not something that I wanted to do. So, you know, and that's totally fine. I love that I tried something new. I love that I felt like I understood it. You know, so whenever I went through that particular course with our resources, I was like, all right, okay, I can do this. And do I want to create a project with it? No, I'm totally fine with that. So I thought it was a really fun thing to try. It was very much out of the box. I felt very creative. But again, it was not my cup of tea in terms of continuing other projects with it. But I cannot wait to see what you think. And as you create your homework, as you're trying the broomstick lace, come on over here and share it with us. I would absolutely love to see. Connie Brooks, she says, hello, missed most of it, but caught the end. Yeah, I'm just kind of going through and saying hey and hello to everybody. We did talk about certificates of completion, what they mean at the ACA, and I'm answering any questions about them if you guys have any questions about our certification process and our certificates of completion. Connie Brooks says, love the hands-on learning. Me too. That's what kind of learner I am. DePauli says, I never knew the difference between shell and fan. I mean, I knew the difference, but one chain in between would make it technically different. That's another realization that I had as well, DePauli. And that's why I love our stitches courses. You know, so many crocheters just go, I want to learn every stitch ever. And you can learn every stitch ever, but we didn't want to create a stitch library of every stitch ever because honestly, stitches, stitch and row variations can create so many different kinds of fabric that we thought, well, let's really break down what it means to categorize something as a specialty stitch, or what is crochet fabric, right? And that was one of my favorite lessons, the difference between shells and fans, or the difference between ripples and chevrons. There are these subtle differences that just help you to understand that there are specific definitions for these things. And I think that when you think about the stitches individually and how those individual stitches can come together to create specialty stitches, like how a double crochet can be transformed into or utilized to become a fan or a shell. And when you understand those differences, then you feel much more confident that you can try any stitch ever, and you don't have to actually physically seek out and work out, every single stitch ever. You feel more confident in just understanding how that fabric can come together. And the same thing with chevrons and ripples. You might really love the look of those, but you might feel like after taking this course and understanding how those fabrics are created and understanding how these stitches create fabrics, you may go, all right, well, I liked these, but I specifically love double crochet, chevron, different kinds of fabrics, with the kind of filet look. So you can really identify what kinds of fabrics you enjoy making more. And alternatively, you can look at these fabrics more so and go, huh, well, I want to create a dense fabric, or I want to create an open fabric, and what that means. So it's really so much more thought-provoking than, here's a bunch of stitches, go make them. Anyway, that's what I thought, and I really enjoyed it. Let's see, who else is a Novella? Okay, it's on the USPS site. I will check it out. Thank you, Novella. Thank you for that push. Sometimes I just need a little push to try something new. Terry B, I made a whole cardigan out of broomstick lace, then frogged the whole thing because I thought it was too old a look for me. Oh my goodness, lady. She says, I am not that young, but I felt like a prisoner, a pensioner. I can't read. I felt like a pensioner, so it had to go. I hope at the very least you took a picture of it, because I would love to see it, Terry B. And I hear you. I hear you. Sometimes I've created entire projects, especially ones to wear. I create the entire thing and I try it on and I go, nope, Frog City for you. And it's unfortunate. Sometimes we love the fabric, sometimes we love the yarn, and we go to make something, we don't realize until it's 100% done that, oh, I wish it was different in some way. I'm not 100% in love with it. So I've been there, lady. I've done the same thing. Kate is here. Love the lessons from the ACA. Thank you, Kate Rogers. What lessons have you taken so far, and do you have any takeaways that have really been revolutionary for you that you'd like to share? I would love to hear. DePolly says, also loved all the videos, washcloths, and cup cozies. The way Julie explained each of them is really amazing. Yes, and that's how we taught stitches at the American Crochet Association. We didn't want to be project specific. We didn't want to just dump a bunch of projects on you. Because of course, when you ask people what they want to make, it's going to be different. I want to make blankets. I want to make baby clothes. I want to make sweaters. I want to make, everyone wants to make different things, right? So when we teach stitches at the American Crochet Association, we wanted to make sure that our students had a foundational understanding for what stitches, for what stitches can, how do I say this? I'm making this more complicated. For how you can recreate fabric, right? So if you like a certain stitch, how can you recreate that stitch in rows and in the round? Because those two things are completely different. You can't apply the same mathematical equation for replicating a stitch in rows as you do in the round. So just understanding how those fabrics are created and then trying it on a really small scale with a functional project like a washcloth, which is rows, or a cup cozy, which is in the round. Not only do you have a functional project at the end, but you're also learning how to look at fabric different, look at these stitch repeats different, look at these row repeats different. And that way, again, you can ask better questions, you can apply better knowledge and experience to the projects that you make in the future. So I'm so glad that you enjoyed those, DePolly. Thank you so much. DePolly, let's see. Yeah, DePolly also wants to see your cardigan, Terry B. So if you did take pictures of that, please post them because we'd love to see. Melanie is here. Melanie says, I have learned a lot, but the most important thing I have learned is the importance of stitch markers. How did I make it so long without using them? Again, that was just one of those lessons that I learned as a crocheter. I'd been crocheting forever, let's just say forever, and it wasn't until the teachings, the training, the knowledge, the education at the American Crochet Association that we take things like stitch markers for granted. We're like, I know what I'm doing, I don't need stitch markers. Or stitch markers are, for people who are just beginning. Or stitch markers are, it doesn't apply to this project. I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter what I make. I don't care if I'm just doing double crochet in rows. I have to use stitch markers because yes, I am considered an experienced level crocheter, but we are all just one distraction away from losing or adding a stitch that can completely, alter the look and the feel and the path of our crochet project. So just understanding how stitch markers can be those gentle reminders, can help us to build upon our projects. It can really make all the difference. And really, I feel like the more experienced I am, the more I know better to utilize those little tools like that. Lucinda's here. She says, taking the swatch course now, love the videos, so helpful and informative. I'm so glad you're enjoying that course. I feel like the swatch course is one of those things that most people go, I'm never going to swatch. I don't want to take this course. You know, it's just, I don't make sweaters. It doesn't apply to me. And it's not until after they take the course that they're like, oh, it's not just for clothes. It's not just for that, you know, the things that I want to wear. You know, really swatching is so much more vast than that. And it's actually really an enjoyable experience. So hopefully you're feeling that way as well. Oh, Terry B, she says, it really was. I don't remember if I did take pictures. I will have a look through my files. If I find it, I will print it. When I frogged it, I made the tweed sweater by Salena instead. Well, I'm glad that you found a substitute for all of that hard work in that yarn. I hope you love the tweed sweater more than the broomstick lace one. And again, you know, I always take pictures of everything that I make, especially if I'm going to frog it, because it's a good reminder for you know, my hard work. You know, even if it didn't work out to plan, it's a great reminder for maybe why it didn't work out to plan. So I love to take pictures. I love to document all of the different things that I make. Tina's replying to Melanie and says, yes, same here. Kate, she says, I have taken the instructor course and have my certificate. She says, I am now on the pattern sourcing portion of the learning path. She says, I love the detail you give. And I learned a lot about gauge and how to change hook size to make gauge. I'm so glad that you took our instructor training course and that you earned your certificate of completion for that course. And Kate, I would love to hear what you thought about that course. So if you have any knowledge to share, any feedback to share here, I'd love to hear. And let us know, what do you think about earning that certificate of completion in that particular course? You know, is that something you display? Is it something that helps you? Does it change the way you think about the course at all? Do you feel that it's like a badge of honor, or do you feel like, nah, it's no big deal? I'd love to hear what you think, you know, or for anyone who's earned a certificate of completion at the ACA, you know, how does it make you feel? I'd love to hear. Novella is the last comment that I see here, and she says there are a few good uses for stitch markers in crochet. Absolutely. There are so many different reasons crochet stitch markers could really help you, you know, not only count your stitches, but really help you to identify how you can start and stop a row, where you join in a round, how to, you know, effectively count a repeat, fastening off your work so that you can save your crochet hook for something else. There are so many different reasons for crochet stitch markers, and really just making sure that you incorporate that into your crochet life, it really makes a huge difference. Melissa says, I would love to be able to afford the instructor course. Melissa, thank you so much for saying that. Our professional courses are $129, but you can split that into 2 payments if you'd like. And all of our professional courses are designed to assure that you make a return on your investment. So yes, it is a financial investment. Absolutely. And I know that we're in the middle of a pandemic now, and that does make it a little more difficult to maybe, you know, meet with and source the amount of students that, you know, we could do pre-pandemic. But if you're looking to start a career in the instructor realm, really it more than pays for itself once you get even 1 student. So it's really everything that you would possibly need to know, not only in terms of your crochet knowledge, skill, and ability, but it gives you everything that you need to effectively teach. It gives you a strategy. It gives you a business model. It helps you to define how to price, where to find students, how to communicate with students. It gives you an entire lesson plan complete with crochet patterns for every single lesson that you teach. It teaches you how to assess your students. It teaches you how to assure that every single student that you have is satisfied with their level of instruction. And that way, not only are they growing as a student, but you're assuring they take that next lesson. They're going to be motivated to take that next lesson. It's also incorporated with business models and strategies that allow you to grow your own community of students who not only go through your program, but who can potentially, if you're interested, take workshops with you, further develop their skills with you. So it's not just one thing. It really is everything you need to know to be a successful, independent, confident crochet instructor. And it's everything that you need to cultivate confident, independent crochet students. So, it is a return on your, is it an investment? Yes. Does it give you a return on your investment? Absolutely. The amount of knowledge and resources within that is far superior than the price you pay, I guarantee. All right, and on that note, I don't see any other questions here, so I just wanted to thank you guys again for chatting with me today on this Mingle Monday. The theme was certificates of completion, why the ACA has them, what they mean to us, what we hope they mean to you, and also what we're hoping to develop in the crochet world in terms of new standards, new ways of learning, new ways of growing, new ways of building a foundation in the crochet world to become a crochet professional. So again, if you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, anything like that, let us know anytime. That's what the American Crochet is all about. All right, everybody, thank you for being here. Peace, love, crochet. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for chatting with us. And to Polly, this is going to be in the mail for you very soon. See you soon. Bye-bye.